Good morning. It's morning time for me. It is 8:35 a.m. Friday, March 28th. It is Today is eclipse day. Today we're having our last and final eclipse until another couple months. Um, we're at the end of this month that has been pretty heavy energetically. Um, and that's just, and like when I say energetically, I mean like energy wise. How have your energy felt? How has your energy felt this month? For a lot of people, it's been heavy, especially in the beginning of the month. But even now, I think there's like a lot of, you may be feeling a little bit of a difference, some here and there, a little bit more, progress maybe, if not totally fine. But yeah, we have had an eclipse earlier this week, a couple of weeks ago, and then we're about to have an eclipse now. And anytime we're in eclipse season, the energy, you just energy wise, you feel like more tired, less energetic to do things, just heavier, and it usually affects people's sleep. People dream a lot. Um, yeah, and it just feels heavy. I guess that's the best way. Murky, like you're just trying to push through. Um, like you're just trying to push through it, and you're like, will this feeling ever end? Like, am I just gonna be feeling like not 100% for the rest of my life? No, we're just in the wave right now. This is just a period. Everything comes in waves. Life is full of ups and downs and different seasons, and we've just been in the season of um, a lot of releasing. Um, yeah, and then there's been a lot of retrogrades. Um, so we'll talk more about that. But and yeah, with retrogrades, well, I just want to say retrogrades cause things to slow down as well. So it's a time for reviewing, reflecting, rethinking things, revising things. So it's not really like the move forward energy. Next month, guys. Next month, um, we will really start to feel it. Like Aries season hasn't. I mean, it started, but officially we won't feel that like Aries energy next month. Next month, we you should notice a difference in your energy levels and your ability to get stuff done. The tiredness should I would say the tiredness may still be here and there up until like later in the month, because Mars is going to be getting out of Cancer. I'm just talking astrology stuff. For those who understand, it's okay. Anyways, at some point I'll go into deeper talks about it. But the point is, um, we're almost out of this like what feels like what has felt like a dark cloud, but energy wise, meaning yeah, there's been things happening in the world, but I don't feel like it's like been. I guess what I want to say is like things. I want to say things could be worse, which I feel like we're not in the place. Well, I don't know. I guess I better be choosy with my words, but I'm just saying like this month has been a lot about, even though there may not have been, I mean, and people, it just feels like an energy thing, okay? It's not like an external thing that's making you feel tired or feel, I mean, yes, work and everything, but just you just don't have as much energy as you would like to. Um, and then you also are reflecting on, like, do I want to be at where I am in life? Am I happy here? Do I value these things anymore? Do I want to be with this person? Do I want to be in this job? What do I want? I know I'm not content with my life. Um, what, like, and you kind of realizing that, but then it feels tiring. But then you're just tired, so it's like you feel like you're having all these thoughts and these recollections, I guess, not regulations, but yeah, this energy of like wanting to do something, wanting to let go of the old versions of you, or the old things that just don't align with you anymore, people who don't align with you anymore, habits that doesn't align with you anymore, anything around that. um and so you're thinking a lot of about it, but you just feel like you don't have the energy to like take the action, perhaps, or maybe things have happened in your life where you're kind of forced to um start taking action, and it just feels overwhelming. um Very like emotional overwhelm is a big theme of this energy. Emotional overwhelm for sure, and just combined with tiredness. So just know that, give yourself grace. Um, it's This is meant to happen, um, because there needs to be a shift. You're going through a shift, and you have two options: to do something about it, or just stay underneath the dark cloud. And maybe you could push through it by doing like nothing, and just kind of being in the like woe is me state until this wave of energy goes away, and then you may start to feel better. But then if you haven't made changes on the things that you need to, when it comes to either yourself or your surroundings or the people in your life, or the what just whatever, your health, anything, um it's gonna come back around. So it's kind of like, you know because this is the first eclipse that we're having, it's gonna be experiencing this year. I mean, we had two this month, and then there's gonna be multiple more of this month. So we'll be resurfacing everything. That's another thing I would really advise anybody to just journal what has come up for them this month. Any reflections, anything they realize like this isn't, this doesn't align with me. Like anything that you noticed. Even how you feel. Like this month, I've been feeling this, that. So because when this eclipse energy comes back around for another release of like, then you will kind of already have some, you will kind of understand. So anyways, rambling. But yeah, so this morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. I've been trying to get up at 5 a.m. for all week, and I haven't been waking up at 5 a.m. And I'm starting to realize that my body is just telling me, my body is just like, girl, no, you don't need to wake up this early right now. Your body needs more rest. Also, because I haven't been going to sleep that early too. Um, And I feel like, okay, that's another thing about this month. This month is about surrendering. Surrendering. March has been a big surrender. Surrender to how we feel in this moment. And even if we don't feel like we have the max energy that we would like to have, we still push forward. And it's more like, for me, I've kind of thought about this month being like, do it tired, but still give yourself time to rest. Meaning, for me, I have a bad tendency of, oh, if I'm tired, if I don't have the energy to do it, I'll just put it off. You know, I'll just put it off, or, it's just too much for me. And I just feel like I just block myself because I'm like, I just don't feel 100%. That's like everything when it comes to like my work. When I'm not 100%, I feel like I'm not performing 100% at my work, and then that causes me to feel overwhelmed because I want to do my best, and so then I'll like procrastinate or delay, or just feel, or it just feels harder for me to get stuff done, even when it comes to like really reaching out to people like friends or family. If I'm not 100%, I just feel so overwhelmed of like, oh, I just can't. Even when it comes to like working out or taking care of my body, everything just feels overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't have the energy. But it's like your mind is already blocking you, and it's like at the end of the day, there are gonna be times, for instance, I think back to the times when people had to push through. Like, I don't know. It's just there's been people that's dealt with way worse than I have dealt with. Um, if we look at history, I mean, mothers, for like people who are moms or parents. Like, I have had to learn that you're not gonna feel 100% all the time. So, what are you gonna continue to not try, or like just give up before you even started because you just don't feel 100%? Like, that for me personally has not been doing me well at all, because they don't underperform. It's just, it appears as laziness, let's just be honest, for me. And then, yeah, I'm not where I need to be, and like, how, I don't know. I feel like that's really also, I feel very like, and that's an entitled, like, I don't know, I'm an adult. Like, if I don't feel like doing it, I still need to do it, especially when it comes to like taking care of myself. For instance, like, this is the first week where I went to the gym the amount of days that I wanted to go to the gym, which is 3. At first, I've always said I want to go to the gym 4 days a week, and I only did that because my boyfriend goes to the gym 4 days a week. But for me, I realized, like, if going to the gym, if I go to the gym at least 3 days a week, and then I also make sure throughout the week that I'm not going to the gym, that I'm getting outside and I'm going for a walk, or I'm doing yoga, or I'm having dance sessions. Eventually, I want to go back to dance class and stuff like that. But as long as I'm being active, um, on the days that I'm not going to the gym, because I do need to move my body, and you do too. But if you always wait until you feel 100%, or just because you're tired, then you just lay and don't do anything, you're not helping yourself. You're making it worse. And if we think of the people who are successful in life, they did it whether they felt like they wanted to or not. They may not have done it, it may not, but you have to push yourself out of the discomfort. That's what it is. When you're tired, when you are sad, when you are whatever, you need to, if you make a commitment, that's another thing. If you made a commitment to do things for yourself, for others, you need, the fact of the matter is, unless you're, I mean, if you make a commitment, you just need to push forward, especially if you have goals that you want to achieve, if you want to become like break out of bad habits that you have, or if you just want to have a better life. That's just it. The people who have I always do that because my laptop always times out and I'm filming these on my laptop. Um but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't supposed to be talking again. I was just supposed to be like, hey, just checking in. But I think it's just that I just feel that on my heart that this whole month was about surrendering. And for me, the surrender has felt like, okay, I'm not gonna be, my energy is not gonna be as like at 100% like I would like it to. So what am I gonna do about it? Am I gonna just let it be a month where I just slack off, or am I just going to learn to push through so I can still get shit done that I need to get done? And that mentality is going to help me get to the things. Like you just can't, I feel in my personal experience that I can't let how I feel or even what's going on in my life stop me from showing up. You can, there's people who want to do that, but if you have goals and you want to be at certain places in your life, then that habit has to go. Do it tired, Jess. Do it tired. And even if you do it tired and it doesn't turn out to be exactly how you want it, it's fine because you're still doing it. And then but then most of the time, a lot of the times, it's just a hurdle. But once you do it, then you feel you push past that cloud energy. So I don't know. No, I think of people who have survived times that didn't seem that like most of us could not even fathom, and they like pushed through. Imagine if they just, oh my gosh, let their circumstance, let how they feel stop them from pushing through. We wouldn't have made a lot of progress that we have made in this freaking, like, in the world, in history. So I want to be a part of that crowd. You have choices in life, obviously, and for me, I want to be a part of the people who pushed through no matter what and still kept going. And even if even if just that, progress is progress, whether it's a little or a lot. But I don't want to just be stagnant anymore because of anything, because I have goals, and I want to make an impact on this world, and I want to be a better me, and that mixed with the balance of then giving yourself extra sleep when you need it, meaning going to sleep. You have to be responsible, going to sleep earlier, or whatever you need to do. You know, meditating before bed, or taking baths, like doing things. So I'm responsible for my life, and like I said in that video, yesterday's video, my life is the way it is because of me. I have Gary Vee. I listen to him all the time, and he always says that people need to be more accountable. Everybody can point the fingers and say, oh, I'm like this because of this, or oh, the world. Anybody who has that mentality, you can have a choice to continue to put the blame game on everybody, or why you're not being the best you. But at the end of the day, there was people who was going through way worse than you who pushed through. So what are you gonna do about that? You have a choice. And like I said, I want to be one of those people who learn to push through, because there's nothing but reward after that. And then I build an inner strength in myself, to which I can pass on to others. and especially like, the kids, if I decided to well, I'm gonna have a kid at some point. I always say that, and then I feel like a little bit of a I love the concept of kids, but I just feel like I have so much that I still need to want to do for myself. And with, yeah, like my partner, that I am like, oh my gosh. But that, even the concept of that, I don't know. So, all right, I'm gonna stop yammling. I'm gonna stop talking. I wanted to say, all right, so it's now. So I like to. I'm gonna be doing my spiritual practice, my morning practice, whatever, spiritual practice, morning practice, where I'm set a 15-minute timer, and I just sit in silence. I start off with doing a couple cleansing breaths in, inhaling in, exhaling out. I probably do that about 3, 4, 5 times until I feel like my like calm. And that's kind of what I call centering myself. And then after that, I just sit, and I just like try to focus on my breath, but then I'll just sit and try to just be present, and then I'll let whatever mental, like, because I still think about stuff. But anyways, I've talked about this before. I'm not trying to make a whole long video over it, but then after the 15 minutes is over, I will journal um what has come up for me, um whatever feelings I'm feeling, what messages did I hear, or like what, like, yeah, messages, but for me, I mean like inner thoughts, but that are not, I don't know. I will have to do a separate video if I want to talk about these things, like my meditation process. How do I decipher, how do I receive, um but it's more of like, you have, but then again, I know it's hard because sometimes when you're meditating, I know for me, when I first started meditating, I had to decipher between what was a fearful thought, because sometimes you do have crazy thoughts, and it's like, oh my gosh, like for me, I definitely have, as a person who's tried to has gone through trying to what am I trying to say? As a person that has had navigated through anxious thoughts or anxiety, or I don't even want to, but feeling like a worrier energy, like worst case scenarios have unfortunately always come in my mind. So that's gonna come out in my meditation sometimes, because it's just things coming up. I'm witnessing, looking at like my thoughts, and yeah, I have learned to decipher between what is like the message, my intuition coming through, like, hey, today you need to focus on this, um, or anything around that, or guidance on like, stop being so hard on yourself, or like, maybe you've been focusing more on this, but you need to focus on that, or just any type of guidance, um, even support. I just have learned to filter the two. So now it's like, I just feel like when I'm sitting in meditation, I'm just seeing things. I don't know, it's almost like when I close my eyes, I'm just letting whatever pass through, and then I'm kind of filtering out like what are the things that I know that I need to hear and apply, and what are things that I just need to discard. Like, hey, that was a crazy thought I had, but that's just fear. Like, I'm not thinking, like, I don't even like think about that. I just be like, fear. I acknowledge it. Oh, doubt. Oh, I acknowledge that. Oh, you know. Um, so I don't know. Anyways, but that's what I do. So I do this for myself, but I also meditate for when I want to get guidance to for the collective too, like collectively what's happening, and then I will, but that's usually, I don't know, sometimes separate, but together. I don't know. It's just a complicated thing. But this is my meditation, my times of stillness is to get clarity. Get clarity from within. What do I need to do? Not me looking at somebody's morning routine or somebody's yes, it's good to get advice, but I do consume a lot of information. But for me, when I sit down and I sit in stillness, I'm listening to my inner guidance to be like, okay, what do you take in and what do you discard? Okay, so it's kind of like, I don't know, I think of like, when you have a teammate and you have team meetings and you like check in and you be like, okay, all right, we're gonna do this, do that, and da da da. That's what it is. It's like a check in with myself, myself, because this is my life and I have an inner guidance that, or even, I guess for me, it's God. I'm able to hear God because I'm not distracted with life, or I'm not on autopilot. And I feel like when you're like, you have a lot of mental going, you're not able to receive the guidance, or you miss it because your mind is like thinking elsewhere. That's why it's best to sit in silence, because that's when your mind is clear. I mean, it's not, I mean, you still may have thoughts, but whatever higher power you believe in can get through to you more with during those times when you are present. It's like opening your, like, imagine when you sit down in silence, it's literally like opening your mind. Like if your mind was, you could just like crack it open. It's like, okay, it's you doing that and saying, okay, this is the time for me to receive what I need to hear at that time. Um, and just let me know, give it to me. And when you're not used to doing that, it may feel like you just have a lot of crazy thoughts in your mind. That's why it's just best for you, to people who are starting off, especially for me, I just wrote down a lot: the good, the bad, the weird, the crazy, blah blah blah. um and then for me also, I didn't sit for 15 minutes. Like when I first started, I would do 5 minutes, and I gradually like got to a point to where I was like, this feels good. And I feel like max 20 minutes. You don't need to do more than that, in my opinion. And sometimes when I really don't have much time, I'll do 5 minutes. But I don't know. So everybody's different. But the point is, just sit in silence. If I at least 5 minutes, if you can do that every day, if you can challenge yourself to do that every day. Today's a new moon in Aries. Well, it's an eclipse. So, this is not really the time to like really manifest or anything like that. But you could still decide that you want to do something like new in your life, to take action on something new. Um, and that could be like, challenging yourself to do meditate for 5 minutes every day for the next 30 days, and see what you find, see what comes out of that, how much clarity you have, and meaning you don't feel confused, like the things that you need to do. um I don't know, you just feel more connected with like, um you can hear your intuition clearly, I guess. And like I said, for me, I view it as like, that's my meeting with God. I know that sounds very, that just for me sounds very, uh, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, my relationship with God now. I never was like one to be super God focused. I always had awareness and a knowing. Like I've always been like, yeah, I believe in God, but now I really do like have a relationship, like, and I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting because I used to not understand people who was like so God focused and always talk about God and blah blah blah. But like now I get it. for me, I mean, and you can replace the word God with anything, the universe, spirit, I don't, whatever, whatever you believe in. But the point is, there is a higher power, whether that is an actual thing outside of us or whether that's something that just lives within us. Whatever it is, there is something. And I feel like every time I sit in silence, I connect to that, and it's really me connecting to me, and and in my belief, which really doesn't matter about, like, I feel like the belief doesn't, the details of the belief doesn't really matter so much to the fact that regardless of whatever everybody's beliefs, sitting in silence will be good. Okay, whether you believe in whoever's giving, wherever that information is coming to you, whether it's yourself, whether it's God giving it to you, it just will be good. Okay, it just will be good. Um, so yeah, you want to be able to listen to your heart. That's what feels. That feels like the best way to talk, to apply it to everybody. You can't hear the best time for you to hear what your heart is telling you that you want it to connect to your heart, which is your energy source. You know that, right? So you should listen to it. It tells you when you need to, when health problems are happening. It sends signals to your body. So shouldn't we like listen to that? Whatever is good for the heart, we should listen. So imagine whenever you sit down and you take that 5 minutes or that 10 minutes or that 15 minutes, as often as you can, if not once a day, maybe once every couple of days, to try to do it every, to just sit and have a meeting with your heart. And I'm just saying that because I feel like that could apply to everybody without. And then once again, to some people, like I said, for me, it's like, okay, my heart, but then who's speaking through my heart? For me, it's God, but that's different for everybody. So I guess I just want to veer away from the terminologies. I really feel like that should be sacred to everybody, of the details behind the beliefs that they have. But I don't want the details or other people's beliefs, which is sacred to everybody because we're all different. So whatever the beliefs we have, the foundation of that is you should still, it will benefit everybody to have daily meetings with their hearts. And that is meaning sitting in stillness, or even just walking in stillness. Anytime you're just disconnected from others, even disconnected from noise. So whether you're having moments where you're sitting for 5 minutes, or you go for a walk for 5 minutes without any music, and you're just there and you're just present. Anytime that you're just present and you don't have any distractions, that is, you could even do it when you're laying down. You could do it while you're cooking. That's another thing. Like, if you're just cooking and you're just in silence, I really do feel like silence helps. I mean, maybe sometimes music is helpful too, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are not comfortable with sitting in silence. And silence is where you could find the most clarity. So, yeah, that was a long ramble. So that is that, and I hope that that is my hope for people in this world, everybody, to have more heart to hearts, have more meetings with their hearts, daily meetings with their hearts, to be like, hey, check in. Okay, I learned this from Johnny today. I reflected on this. Okay, how do you feel about this heart? Oh, okay. Oh, that you should take that what they said. That's a good idea. But then but then you need to, but then maybe not that, or you know yes, these people said this, but you know what you truly need to do, or 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 maybe you need to just stop being so hard on yourself and give yourself some rest. I know your mind has been telling you need to work, but your body, we need some time for you to take care of us. Like these things. This is how I'll be having conversations in my mind of like, I don't know. I mean, everybody's mind is different, but just the point is, these are examples of you checking in with your heart. Like you get after you've been out in the world, you need to reconnect to that heart to be like, okay, check in. Check in. What is it saying? You know, reconnecting to yourself. I don't know. I'm really rambling. Um, I'm just trying to simplify it because I can talk about God, this, God, that, and I really do, that's my belief. But the point is, it's like the base of it is what it is. The base of it is I just don't want the details of people's beliefs to get crowded in the actual practices that will benefit everybody to do every day. It's all, I guess, what I'm trying to say is. Um, and I feel like people get too caught up on the details of things that are like personal to everybody. And I don't believe in you should have this belief. Like my belief is different than your belief because they're freaking beliefs. At the end of the day, nobody has proof of these things. And are you gonna? My point is, like, it's like, what if the practices behind your beliefs? What if those are actually genuinely good for the person, but because you're forcing a belief on down somebody's throat, or you're making it seem like their beliefs isn't, you're getting focused on that, then you lose. Then the person that could have gathered the practice or the foundations behind what you were saying, but they can't hear you because all you're trying to do is talk about the beliefs, when really that is they can still do the same thing, they can still develop the practice, but still have their own beliefs. That's even when we think of prayer. Like, I feel like there's like negative connotations around prayer if you're not super religious, but it's literally talking out loud. Because the point is, even if it's just to yourself, but if you're just getting into the practice of asking, talking out loud when you feel like you need guidance and you need, like, or you want to, or you need help. That's another thing. If you need help, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I heard that in my entire life by my mom. And it's true. And I can't tell you the technical definitions because, once again, everybody's beliefs are different. But I do know one thing's for sure: if you ask out loud for some type of help or guidance, you're gonna get it. Now, you may not get it in the way that you want it. Meaning, I mean, of course, if it was that easy, like I was just telling somebody, like, because they were saying, like, I've been asking. I had times where I was praying or asking, and I didn't get what I was asking for. And I was like, did you not get what you were asking for in the way that you wanted it? Meaning you wanted the tool, like maybe you got the tools, maybe, someone came to you and told you, like, gave you the tools to get yourself out of the situation, but you were looking for the actual thing. And obviously that's not going to happen. I mean, that means that everybody could ask, for instance, say I wanted $1 million. Well, I would probably start to get tools to how I can get there, meaning, like, reading books from other millionaires and learning. But I'm not about to just get sent $1 million. Like, why would that happen? I didn't work for that. Like, that's life is not about, like, that's not, once again, I don't know. That's where it's like thinking about the deeper meaning of life. It's not We are here to learn, grow, heal, evolve. So nothing is gonna come easy. Um, but we're always able to get what we want. We just have to, if you learn how to develop the tools or the strategies to get it, then you have that. I don't know. I'm going like so deep into things. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? The point is, all right, I'm gonna do my meditation. This is why I struggle with doing like morning check-ins, because this is just where my mind is. I'm swear it's the Pisces in me. I just be going afloat in somewhere else. And then yeah, I'm going to do my meditation. I'm going to set a 15-minute timer. I decided I want to do my bowl today. Um, and I like to kind of start off with, just playing my bowl. I'll set the 15-minute timer and I'll play it for a minute or two, which gets me into a calm state. And then after that, I'll just sit and I'll just there's different. I can go into details about what actually happens and how I whatever, but that would have to be for another video at another time. But just sit. It's just a point. I'll sit, and then when the timer goes off, and I like to put my timer on, like, I like to not put it on loud. I like to put it on vibrate because I just don't want to be like alarmed when so I put it on vibrate so then I can just hear the vibration, and then I'll just open my eyes, and then I will get my journal, and then I'll just start writing down what came up for me. And then sometimes if I feel like I want to pull some cards for extra guidance and clarity, or for me sometimes it just is proof. Like I don't know, I've always had that like idea of like, oh, let me write down my thoughts for my meditation and what came up for me, and then let me pull cards afterwards. And I don't know, my mind's always been like, oh, let me see if the cards match what came through me through my meditation, because also I feel like that's strengthening my intuition when I'm gathering what came to me when I was sitting in stillness, because I feel like, once again, that's my intuition talking to me. But then I said, like I always say, behind the intuition, it's like, where does that intuition come from? And for me, that's God. But that's not for everybody, but I'm just saying that. But that's me. Every time I sit down in silence, I feel really congested nasally. That's just how it is going to be. We're in that season, so excuse that. But so then every time I sit down, that's like me strengthening my intuition. And I've seen it's true. So the point is, now every time I write stuff down, I've gotten to the point to where I'll write something down, and then if I decide to pull cards afterwards, which I don't always do anymore. Sorry guys, I'm just like really congested right now. I probably need to drink some water, but my water's way over there and I'm not about to get up. But yeah, I've gotten to the point now to where if I do pull cards after I journal, the cards align with what I put in my journal. And it's so crazy. So that right there tells you like you've strengthened your intuition, which I love, because I love the cards, but you don't need these things. You don't need, like, you need this. All you need is you. Like, even crystals, they're great, they're not necessary. Any material item is not necessary for you to get guidance. That's why I like the sitting in silence, because when you do that, you start to strengthen your own intuition to where you don't need any external anything it's still nice for clarity. Even astrology, like, I don't believe you don't need that. It's just an extra tool to give you extra clarity, because sometimes when things come up intuitively, you only have your own language of relaying it. But then the beauty of cards is it gives you the same thing, but it has more language, of more of a variety of a language that it can tell you speak through you and get that message to you. So then you have more clarity on it. I mean, because you have it presented in a more words, more description, and even astrology too. So these are tools, but I guess I always want to make sure that I'm not becoming attached to these tools. And because what happens if one day I don't have them, or if I'm just out, or even when it comes to the work that I do, like I want to be able to build my intuition to where I can, I know that's straight, and so I don't have a reliance on anything external, because like that just feels that just feels like that just feels right. Yeah. So that was a lot of talking. I'm gonna meditate now, and I'll check in later. Yeah. My whole computer timed out for me there. Okay.